Welcome to Are We On Air, Bakar?
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah,
Honestly,
pleasure.
I feel grateful to be here.
You can make this higher if you want.
Thank you. I've seen and I heard that you've had some really cool names on here. So
Yeah.
it feels nice to add to the list. And I also just like don't talk that much, so it's nice to like talk. Yeah.
So speak up, my friends. Speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
We're in
Cheers.
great setting. Honestly.
So, I had another venue in mind for us to record. It fell through last minute, and then I had to call my friends here at Idea Books, which, shout out to Idea Books, thanks for having us. A lovely host. I mean, the guys for references of books and vintage books. And
Yeah.
when I just heard from Angela that this was also Virgil's favorite room, he would come for architectural books here. And of course, your connection with Virgil, I thought, you know what, meant to be.
No, I love that. I love
Yeah.
the fort. I love the fort. That's great.
Yeah.
It's also just nice to see like new stuff like within the city. Obviously, this is just like a building or a room within like a room within a building. It's not like, but it's just still like I've been here in the city for so long that I just feel like I see this. I don't see like new that much. Yeah, like new rooms or new spaces that often. So that's refreshing.
Yeah, I only discovered it, I would say maybe 12 months ago through another friend of the show and a friend of mine as well, Najili Cohen, who had her books released on Idea. So she connected me with David, and of course we all fell in love with each other. And it speaks our languages.
Yeah.
But another language that we speak is the sound and the music of our lives.
Yes.
So then why don't we start there, and also with what was your earliest significant musical memory that shaped you as an artist?
My earliest significant memory as an artist, I mean,
your musical memory is how it started. What got
probably
you?
just shaped me as a human, but just like probably like of sound, probably like the Quran.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير
And just
المغضوب
like hearing the Quran, just like play loud in my house and stuff like that. You know, and like I used to go to Arabic school when I was a kid, so probably like obviously that's not music or anything,
no,
like, but just like sound and you know and that kind of stuff, and then like and Arabic music. And then also like, because my mum's from Yemen, and grew up in Tanzania, so we would always go back to Tanzania quite a lot, and so like, like, I'd say there was like a genre called bongo flavor back home, and so like I would hear a lot of that growing up. So that, but then like, my mum was young when she had me, so like she had just come to England and was like, like super influenced by Western culture as well. So that was on one side, but on the other side, she was just like a super R&B lady and was into like Aaliyah and all of these other stuff that I think I've mentioned in the past before. But like stuff like Toni Braxton and Whitney Houston and 702 and just SWV and just loads of like strong black women that my mum would listen to. I don't think on purpose. That's just what she was listening to. So just like lots of R&B. As well, I remember like going to primary school, my mum would be playing like Choice FM. There's like a radio station out here that's like really, it was like kind of like in inverted commas the urban station here, but like more. But I feel like at that time it was like more R&B led, and there was like a host called Jenny Francis who had like the most amazing speaking voice. So yeah, those are like my early like childhood memories of music. And then of course like I had older cousins, so they were into like garage and grime, but that was like a little bit later. That's like early teen stuff, you know, being like 6, 7, 8 years old. It was the stuff that I just mentioned.
That you just subconsciously, like a sponge, took in.
That you just like it just seeps into you.
Yeah, you don't think about it. It's just there. It's part of the fabric.
Exactly.
Talking about Yemen and Tanzania, how much of that heritage? I'm Persian, born in Germany, so I get exactly that. How much of that heritage besides family-wise, besides cultural, but sonically in your sound today, how much does it influence, or has that influence directly? Was there a direct influence?
I don't know if it was direct. It was probably indirect or subconscious.
Yeah.
I still don't know. If I'm honest, like I couldn't put a finger in it, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
I definitely know it's there, and I know that like it runs through me for sure. And like, you know, certain melodies and just even how like the Cher will pronounce certain things, you know, like, just probably has influence, just like how I approach like a microphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly, but I would definitely confirm that it does influence me indirectly. And just like things that I notice in other people's music, you know, that they might not even know where that came from, but I'm like, oh, that's very Arabic, you know what I mean? Or that cadence is very this, and so it's more like that. And but like on my last record, Nobody's Home, there was like little hints of it, you know, like where we would like, I think more than ever, but it's there for sure.
Listen, I'm all for it. Like, let's push our region,
right,
you know,
right.
and how it influenced. Actually, another guest on the show I'm going to have this season is this fantastic DJ and radio host, Nuria. I don't know if you discovered her, but she has a party in LA called Middle of Nowhere, which is exactly taking all these influences from that whole region and putting it into a London map. And because we're all around, we're here, there's also a generation that was born here, but it's our influence and how you can adapt that to our zeitgeist in our Western world. Yeah,
exactly. And like, and it's a beautiful thing. And I have a friend called Mustafa the poet, artist.
Try to get him on the show, Mustafa. Davai.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would do it. And we always talk about that, you know, like how that we don't track. You know, it's like, you know, Islam and music. It's a bit of a stigma. So, like, not doing it directly because we don't want to be disrespectful. But still trying to like have our identity printed on what we do. Yeah, for sure.
A bottle of lean, a gun in your jeans, and a little faith in me. A plane in the sky, the only starlight on this never-ending street. The cameras in cops with good open stars on our mother's new screens.
I know it's very difficult, and most guests struggle with it, because of course our sound and our life changes non-stop. But how would you describe yourself in 3 songs?
Oh my God!
Who are you
as a human being?
As a human being, or even your sound?
It's all going to be like recency stuff, like things that, you know, I could go all day, but like just off the top of my head, I'd say like top of my head 3 songs that describe me. I'd say Electric Feel by MGMT.
Oh wow.
I'd say,
I wonder, I mean, this is 2007-8.
Yeah.
I must have been your age now.
Yeah.
So how did you discover it back then? It just because it was on the radio?
There was so much stuff that I discovered after the fact, but it was like brand new to me, and I thought it like happened then and then, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was Electric Feel or I think the album's called Kids or something like that, but it was on like a game or something I was playing. It might have been on FIFA or something like that. And so like, I've got into so many songs from video games. Like,
listen, that's a whole market out there.
Yeah, I'd say like a lot of like my eclectic taste came from like games and like honestly, early on, like for sure. And then it would get revisited later on, if that makes like in my later, and then I'd be like, oh okay, and I'd make like some connection. And I'm not exactly sure how MGT came about, but I'm pretty sure it was a gaming experience that put me onto it. And then I remember like years later, like hearing it and then being like, and then just always been into MGMT ever since. So.
It's interesting because that album, which was of course the breakthrough, was meant to be as some sort of parody, because they're more like an alternative band, actually a bit more experimental.
And they grew to be that, no? Like later on.
Well, that's, of course, after such a massive hit, of course, the record label and the audience were like waiting for Ready number 2, and already there they were going for more what they actually meant, what they actually wanted to produce.
Yeah,
which was kind of also the end of I mean, I guess it's still around, but they didn't never had that success. Maybe artistically, maybe they were more fulfilled.
Well, because it's seeming like, I think I saw a thing like they made a lot of that stuff when they were in uni or something like that. So you can hear the youthness in it, and you can hear like the like funness in it. I like the fun. I'm finishing a record right now.
Tell me.
Like, and one of the things that whenever like someone describes it as fun, like it's like my favorite thing. I get so happy.
Yeah.
Like someone said to me, "Oh my God, this sounds like such a fun record," and I was like beaming for the rest of the week.
That's a great way.
Yeah,
that's a great way to describe an energy.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like fun, but yeah, because like I made a very serious record before on purpose, intentionally, and intentionally tried to do the opposite on this. And
which track should we play? What particular track?
From the
seriousness to the...
Actually, serious is the wrong word.
Okay.
It just ended up... Serious is like a byproduct of what I'm talking about. So it's like, I'm talking about identity, I'm talking about where I am, who I come from, what that means being, what that means to be like, what I am and where I come from, an immigrant in England, you know, and almost like exploring this idea of being like a futuristic alien, like what would, I had this whole thing of like, what would the immigrants from the future look like?
Oh wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And then and I dwelled on that for ages, and I was thinking about that for time, and then come to the realization that, oh, like we are the futuristic immigrant. Like I am the futuristic immigrant. Like literally I am the futuristic immigrant. You know, like my mum probably come to the country like a year or two before I was born. You know what I'm saying? So I so easily could have been born back home, but I was born here. And like this is what it looks like, you know, like you're looking at him, like, you know what I mean, like in Balenciaga, like like with Nike Cortezes on, with a Defender, like, you know, a new Land Rover Defender parked outside, like that's what the futuristic.
I love you driving in London.
Yeah, oh yeah, like for sure, like, you know what I mean. So it's like that's what the future. Not even on some flexy shit, like it's just on some like, oh, like it was just a realization of just like, oh my God, like. Me and my friends that also have like similar backgrounds, and even the other ones that aren't like that, my friends are. But this is what it is. Like we are the immigrants from the future, and like, yeah, just to be proud of that, you know, because like, yeah, it was just a cool realization to be like, oh my God, it's me. Like the first
you
one.
are.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. So that's cool. And so I was just trying to describe that in the best way, and like I think like people find those topics like serious. Yeah. To me, I actually thought we were having fun with it at the start, but yeah, it was cool, and I think people received it as that, and it was a really important record for me to make. Yeah, but back to the free song.
Second track.
My second track. You know what, I'm gonna say Godspeed by Frank Ocean. Yeah, I just like adore that song, man. It just sounds like, because I was gonna pick like a Stevie Wonder song, but like that's basically like a Stevie song to me. Like, so
maybe the modern Stevie.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?
Exactly. No, I think we are allowed to say that. So I'll say Godspeed just because like every single word on that song like means something, and it's like heavy, but it just sung so beautifully, and I just love the song. Outside of like Frank, like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm like a humongous Frank Ocean fan, like, but even outside of Frank, like just the song on its own, you know, like. Just those words, even if I just read those words from top to bottom, like I think they're great words, and I'm not. But yeah, so love that song, and I've got to go "Baby Be Mine" by Michael Jackson. It was between "You Rock My World" and "Baby Be Mine." It's that song. Yeah, like it's just so bright and so like fun. Like I just said, it's just the mood I'm in right now.
Yes.
I think it's that song. Honestly, I feel like post finishing this next record right now, I feel like a fizzy bottle, like I feel like
a fizzy bottle. I love that.
Of like you know what I'm saying, like Coca-Cola, and someone's just like shaking it, and it's just ready to like go crazy. That's where I'm at right now.
I'm so intrigued. To I can't wait to hear it. Like, it's fun because I mean, obviously we're going to the third track, but at least from my past records, I love growing up in London in the early 2000s, where indie was, of course, huge, right?
Yeah.
And funny enough, the first time, and I'm sure you heard that before, the first time I heard your music and your sound, immediately thought of Block Party. I mean, you guys have such similarities. It's insane.
Yeah.
In a very positive way. Nothing like
Listen, I always openly say, like, especially early on, I think I've grown out of it a bit more now.
Yeah.
But I think early on I was literally trying to mimic what Kelly was doing. I have no shame in doing it, like saying that. I think the effect that Block Party had on me as a band, like visually, because the front man was black, and also just sonically, probably more important sonically than it was visually, because although I identified with Kelly being black, I didn't really identify with his type of black, and that's no shade on Kelly at all. He's wicked, like he's amazing, and he gave me a lot. But
so you met and
no, I've never met.
What?
Ever. No, I've never met. Never spoken to him at all. I'm sure loads of people have probably sent him my stuff and been like, "This guy sounds like you." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's probably sick of it. But yes, and then like more importantly, sonically, man, like I just was like blown away, and so I think early on, like I was honestly like so. It was actually like years between like me making music and me being like obsessed with Block Party. It was like actually like quite a big gap. But naturally, like when I decided to make music, I think that's just like what started coming out. And so yeah, heard that a lot early on. And I wasn't even on some like shying away from it. It was like I was like, oh great, like I did what I was trying to do then, kind of thing. Because I knew by like proxy, like what I was doing would end up being different at some point.
Great. No, I'm all for it.
Big Block Party fan.
Favorite Block Party track?
Ooh, I would say it probably changes, but it's probably going to be something off Silent Alarm, and it's probably going to be like Eating Glass. Just because I know it starts the album off, and it's just like the urgency of that song is like something I'm always trying to find. Like. But I like Blue Light stuff like, and I remember like seeing them live and seeing stuff like Mercury live. I remember like hating that song Mercury like when I heard it and then seeing it live and being like, oh, I get it.
20th anniversary, they did a whole Silent Alarm.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that.
Yeah.
I think I saw something. Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, third track.
But even with like that, with the Block Party stuff, it's like when I found out about Block Party, I swear to God, I thought it had just come out, and like because. When I found out about Block Party, they had put out an EP, and I can't remember what it was called, but it had a song called I'm not sure. It's something to do with Brighton. Let's go to the chorus goes, "Let's go to Brighton on the weekend," and I can't remember what that EP is called. Oh, it's called "Waiting for the 718." That song, it's called "Waiting for the 718," and like that EP is like the EP that like me and my friends like, because I found out about them when I got sent to boarding school, and I was around all the like these like other type of kids that were listening to bands. And so like they kind of put me onto it, and then it was like going back and listening, because I remember at the exact same time it was like, well, I always say this, Red Hot Chili Peppers were my gateway drug for like just band music in general. Like when I was 13/14, like year 9, I got sent to boarding school. And then
for good behavior or bad behavior?
Just for like, you know what? I think like it was just more like World Girl. Yeah. There was just more World Girl.
Of course, yeah.
My mum told me to do this for dick house there, so I got sent to Surrey with him. And then they were all listening to bands and stuff, so it was just like that was just a whole like, and then like I remember like my dorm mate who I became really close with, his older brother. Actually, my dorm mate like really like formed like a lot of my musical taste, because like even on a hip hop level, because like up until then on a hip hop level, and I'm just jumping around at the moment.
Please,
sorry, but like
all good. Nothing's chronological here.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Interject whenever you need, but like it's like. Even on a hip hop level, like I was more like Dipset, Lil Wayne, and then heavy grime, like grime.
Yes.
like all I listened to grime, and any American hip hop that I did listen to was like Lil Wayne, Dipset, like just more like of a street aesthetic. And then when I went to boarding school, I think like that's when like College Dropout around those times would come out.
Drug dealer by Jordan, crack kid by crack, and a white man get paid off for all of that. But I ain't even gonna act totally other than that, cause fuck it, I went to Jacob with 25.
And then like literally like coinciding with that, it was like my dorm mate had this CD and that his older brother had burnt, and it was like had like 20 songs, no names, and it had the whole of the Quasimodo Unseen album by Madlib, and like the whole album was on there, and then it was like probably like 4 or 5 extra tracks on there, and some of those extra tracks were, so I remember like 93 Until Infinity was on there by Jurassic 5, and there was like a couple like random Red Hot Chili Pepper songs on there.
It wasn't Jurassic 5, it was
sorry, Souls of Mischief.
Souls of Mischief.
Souls of Mischief, but there was a Jurassic 5 song on it. What song is that?
I know exactly. It was the number 1 track on
it. It was like a really cheesy,
so good.
like,
like had a
hip-hoppy,
good rhythm melody. Yeah.
So whatever that Jurassic 5 song was, 93 Infinity by Souls of Mischief. And there was like some random Chili Pepper songs on there, like By the Way or something like that. And then like, I was just like, what is that? And then like we just started listening to like I think it was like whatever the album like Zephyr.
Zephyr. I think it was.
Is it By the Way? Maybe the album's called By the Way. I'm not sure, but and I remember just listening to him and be like, oh, this guy's rapping, and it just made loads of sense to me, you know, and just like bridging that gap in my brain. And then that was just like a gateway of like, okay, I want more of this. And then like, okay, what's the British version of this? And then it was like, oh my God, there's a whole world of it, and it's like. And I think Arctic Monkeys, and then it was like maybe Arctic Monkeys had put out their first album like a couple years before that, so then we're listening to that and being like blown away and hearing Riot Van on there and being like, oh my God. And then listen to the Kooks, because you know I've always had like a thing for like poppy things. So like Inside Out, that album by the Kooks was like really important to me at that time.
My God, I remember that.
Because I was just like delving in albums after. I was like reading a book, like you know what I mean. It was like week on week I'd just have a new album that I'd be obsessed with, like just discovering. And then so it was that, and then it was like discovering like UK ones like the Klaxons, and there was all these like, it was like Hadouken, and you know there was other kids in and around my like in my year that were like listening to more like more stuff that I couldn't get into, like Hadouken, like bands like Hadouken that I couldn't get into, but I understood it and I respected it, but it wasn't for me. And then finding out about Bombay Bicycle Club.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
And then that suited me a lot more, you know. And I think maybe that was like, maybe when I was like year 10, but like, and then finding out about the Foles though, like, and finding out, when I found out about Foles, that was just like, their album Antidote. And then that's just when like, it was just, it was a game changer.
So we got to play a track by Foles, I guess.
Yeah, you have to. You got to play Balloons or Olympic Airways off that album. I mean, you can play anything off of that album, man. The only song I didn't like on that album was Cassius, and even then I grew to like it.
That's why I'm going to play Cassius, no?
Be free. Like, that album honestly changed everything for me.
Wow, I love it. See, now we got such a good trajectory of your story, but your sonic story, and we can see now where it landed in your own sound. I think it's super great.
Yeah.
It's, I like this going from something more, okay, we don't use the word serious, but let's use it for the sake of it, to something fun and light now coming up. I think that's, and that urgency, you mentioned the urgency of that energy of Block Party. I think that's the fun and light. It had like energy behind it, but it was still fun and light.
Yeah, it had like, because I think they had smiles on their faces. Exactly. I think that changed a lot, you know, like, I think we went from an era of just like bands before that were just like really straight faced, and like then
just have fun, guys. Just have fun.
Yeah, it went into an era of like bands playing with smiley faces and just jumping around, and you know what I mean, having a bit of fun. That energy is important to inject into the world, like for sure.
Well, one person who did the positivity into the world was our dear late Virgil Abloh. Yes. And talking about burning CDs, he obviously did a beautiful CD for you.
Yeah,
I hope there's still one left for me.
Oh my God, for sure. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure there is, honestly.
and we obviously in his room where he spent a lot of time going through books and magazines. He had idea books, and tell me how that all. But please go ahead. How that all came about. What was like working with him, and what song defines your time with him, or maybe you had a moment with him.
All right, that's a lot in one, but we'll get to all of it. But just remember the other 2 points. So like,
all right.
The first one, like, how did I meet? I mean, I met Virgil for a friend of mine, like a really close friend of mine called Jordan Vickers. He works for Stussy actually, and they knew each other, and I was making my first project, Bad Kid, and then I think Jordan just like I think we probably just like saw, because at that time it was almost like Jordan was almost like my creative director in a sense. You know, I didn't have management or anything at that time, so it was just like me and him doing all of it, and so I think he just probably saw it by process of just like seeing Jordan post me all the time, and then just became interested in it, and then like I think him and Jordan, they started talking about it, and then I got his email, or maybe I don't know how it initially happened, but maybe it was a DM or something like that. I'm not sure how it happened originally, but something like that. And then, but I do remember him being like the first person that I sent the finished version of Bad Kid, which was like my first like project, my baby, like. And yeah, so I sent that to him, and he just loved it, like out the gate. He understood it. I always had like this feeling that he understood exactly what I was doing, even before I'd even met him. It was almost like, oh, if I can get my music to this guy, like I know that he's gonna get it. Like I can just tell from afar that he's gonna understand it.
I love that.
But and he did straight away, and then like I think within a month I was probably walking his first Louis Vuitton show. Yeah, so I didn't really know him too much before like the Louis Vuitton wave. Yeah, it was like, I think I met him just before that. Actually, there was a little period of time where like he had come to London, and we went to a Martin Rose show together in Kentish Town, and like I'm from like that area, like that's my area. So I remember he like met us at like Kentish Town West Station, and I was with like 10 of my friends, and he was just on his own, and then we walked to a Martin Rose show because she had done it in the middle of a street in Kentish Town, and yeah, we just watched the show together, front row, like literally. It's just like I remember one of my friends like still eating Nando's on like has the Nando's.
Shout out to Nando's.
Yeah, like he's eating a Nando's bag, and like it was just like we really just like unformaled his whole entrance and his whole vibe, but he just was like loved it and was with it. And then fast forward, I don't know what the time was, but I don't think it was very short between first interaction, maybe like February, you know what I'm saying, March of that year, and then like his show was in June, so it was like, and my project came out in May, so it was like just quite like boom, 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 and like we just kept on having like either like run-ins or like and talking about my record and stuff like that, and then yeah, him invited me to come and walk, and then like that just like confirmed that, oh, he probably like fucks with me. Yeah,
I love that.
Legend.
What track shall we play? What's your Virgil track?
Wait, you had a middle one though. What was the middle thing?
I did. Oh my god, I said.
Sorry.
How you guys met? What it was like being with him, I guess.
Oh yeah, like while he was here, yeah. So then like,
but maybe there was like a precious moment that where you really like, this is it.
I don't know if there's one specific. I think the one really fun, like not the one, because I have so many fond memories. But I think like just like the process of getting to work with him on an actual product was probably like my fondest memory, like which being the CD, because like we worked on stuff like, you know, like either whether it be advice or like me walking his shows. I walked 2 of his shows. I did a whole campaign for them. Like there was other bits and bobs that we probably did that I'm even forgetting, but that was like a product, and obviously like it was a weird situation,
something
because
tangible that you can put in your pocket.
He's a product man.
Yes,
like he's the to me he's the product man. So it's like to make a product with, I don't know, like basically like it's basically like making a project with like Duchamp, or like, see what I'm saying? Like or like that's what it felt, or like making a chair with like Pierre, whatever his name is, like just like making product with like just the best in class. So that's what it felt like. It literally felt like,
I love that, best in class.
Yeah, just making something with like the person that I know for a fact is like the best at doing it. So yeah, that was just an interesting thing. Like I'm even trying to think of like more like, cause it's like making a film with like Kubrick, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like or like making a song with Kanye West, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, making a product with Virgil Abloh, like, it's the same kind of vibe for me, like,
amazing.
that same, like, level of excellence. So, and, like, just, like, knowing, like, I don't use WhatsApp. To be honest, like, the only reason I ever got WhatsApp was for two reasons. One was to communicate with V, because he loved WhatsApp, and my label, like, the people, they use WhatsApp as well, but I'm not a WhatsApp guy. I don't use WhatsApp, and the only reason why I still have it is because to store those conversations. Because like there's so many, like when we were like going through it, like iterations of the CD and little changes.
I'd love to see that.
It's like all of the stuff. Oh my god, I'll show you. And like all of that, and just knowing that like that's just so tangible for me, and just like it's just like that's the coolest shit. So I'd say that. But overall, like man, so many cool moments. Like I said, shooting Louis Vuitton campaigns and. Just being able, like, I didn't realize at the time, and me and my friends talk about it, like, that also had privileges of being around him. It's like the privileges that we, like, had just based off, like, being, like,
in his sphere,
I always talk about, like, so, like, one of my friends is starting a brand, and, like, and he's doing it, and it's great, but it can be better. And he was really close to Virgil, too. And I'm always like, bro, you're from the uni of Virgil. You know what I mean? I always talk about it as like being from the school of Virgil, you know? So like, and like, so yeah, like being from the University of Virgil is like, there's so many things that like, I love that I was around and I was privy to, like, that he showed me. Yeah, so many things. But I'm in a stage right now where I'm going back and watching so many of his talks and stuff, like.
Yes.
Just to like.
I did the deep dive as well. I mean, you know, he was one of my contemporaries, but it's different when there's hindsight to it, when there's space to it, like a distant, because then re-watching or re-listening to some of these things, we're talking about like 5 more years ago, and kind of how far ahead he was, and also certain things that he said that just made so much sense. Maybe not in the moment. Maybe in the moment you were just so distracted with everything else. But now looking back, it's just like, oh my God, yeah, he was right, you know, or he is right.
Absolutely, like, this idea of tourist versus purist.
Yes.
I swear to you, in that moment when he was doing it, I probably didn't I've always understood that notion. I think it's why I'm good at making music. But I never, when he was like presenting that theory, I didn't really connect to it. Like in the way he was presenting it. Recently, I'm like hooked on that, like that theory and that ideology of like tourist versus purist. I'm like, it's like my whole thing. It's like my whole shit now. So it's just like, it's just funny how like sometimes you won't understand one thing, and with time, because I did understand, it was just the way he was presenting it, I didn't understand it, you know what I mean? Now I watch those same presentations and I completely understand, so maybe that just comes with maturity, but so proud to, like I said, like self-proclaimed like graduate from the School of Virgil, like I love that, yeah.
Graduate of School of Virgil, I love that. There you go, that's a title.
Yeah, oh my God, that's a good title. And then song, I'd say Mama, I'm So Sorry. I know Benji played it his last show in Miami, one of the last shows. That song really just reminds me of V. And I was just in Virginia, like doing a show like a couple weeks ago, and we were just in the car like just playing like obviously like so many like clip songs. And when I heard that, I was just like, oh, this just sounds like V, like, because it's shiny, the mix is incredible. Do you know what I'm saying? But it still has all this great inside of the song and like all this like gangsterness, but like I don't know why, like that song just has like an incredible mix, like it just sounds so like clean, and so yeah, I'd say that reminds me of him, yeah.
Shout out to Virgil.
Shout out V, man, for sure.
Well, we just briefly mentioned your new record. Does it have a title yet? Are we allowed to talk about it yet?
Halo. We allowed to talk about it heavy. I'm big on like putting my titles out way before my records come out, so yeah, the title's called Halo, and yeah, I was like proper didn't know when I would find the title for this, but then like my titles always find me, so I never prang out. But yeah, next record's called Halo, due to come out soon.
Do you have already a favorite track?
Yeah, but it changes the whole time, like constantly. Like literally, as of last night, I have a new favorite song on there. So
which one should we play?
I mean, like, when is this coming out? Is this coming
July,
out?
around your... I'm going to release it when... I was like, when is this album coming out?
I would say, because I'm not... hopefully the whole album will come out, but there's no guarantee. So I'm going to play I'll say a song that I know is definitely going to be out by that time, which is a song called Alive that I just shot the video to actually, and it's just has such a great feeling. It's just got that energy thing we're talking about, and the urgency thing we're talking about. Yeah. This song has an abundance.
I know the sunshine isn't promised, so I put it in my pocket. Winter turned me rotten, all these seasons I've forgotten. July told me a lie, can't be just crossed again. You was the straw the band told you tonight wasn't the time. Said your goodbyes to me, it was a sight to see. But what did I expect? You said it with your chest, your eyes wouldn't lie if you want them to. So what did I expect? You said it with your chest, your eyes wouldn't cry if you want them to.
If to me it feels like some modern day like Rolling Stone shit, like, and I'm just like really big on just like retaining the idea that people like me started what like was known to be like rock and roll. You know what I mean? And like, cause there's always this stigma of just, you know, I'll always say like, oh, you make white music or like, or stuff like that along those lines.
Well, it's black music really.
And I'm always like, how ironic. You know what
it's Little Richard, guys. No, it ain't Elvis.
Yeah, and by the way, like, no shade to any of those people.
Yeah,
like,
of course not.
You know, like, I never listened to them, but like, shout out Elvis and like, you know, the Beatles. I'm not a big Beatles fan, but like, appreciate it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because people always say to me, my producer friend, like, you guys should listen to Beatles. And I'm like, fuck the Beatles. Like, I never listened to the Beatles. I didn't grow up listening to the Beatles. It's not my thing, but I appreciate it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I can't force it. So yeah, but this song Alive is that, and yeah, it just feels like on some real Black Beatles shit. Yeah, like
Black Beatles shit.
Yeah,
there is a Black Beatle. I think we just missed each other in LA. I'd love to see you perform live. Are you going on tour with a new record by the end of the year? Or?
Hopefully. You know what's funny is that like
you just played Coachella, right?
I just played Coachella. Yeah. Amazing experience.
Yeah,
really cool experience. Yeah. The plan is to go on tour and play shows. I love playing shows, so I hate tour though.
Hey, that's why I never became a full-on professional touring DJ, because the touring itself, the performing, of course, we love, but the touring is what's really the exhausting element. And I always ask, especially classical musicians, I ask them always, because they just travel just as much as like a DJ, really. How does the traveling affect your sound? Let's say you're a violinist.
Yes.
You know, like there's got to be an effect to it at some point. Yeah. Because it's nuances, especially with classical instruments. So how does it affect you?
I'd say on stage.
Well, the traveling and then the performing, like when you're back to back.
The traveling is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, the traveling is horrible. I don't enjoy it at all. But I enjoy being on stage every single night.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And so like, I'd sacrifice anything for that. So if that is like just like doing this like horrible slug around the world, I'll do it just for those few moments on stage. You know what I mean? Like happily, gladly. So I'm not like complaining. You know what I mean? It's like
it would be easier to be in the Range Rover going from gig to gig.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because by the way, like you know, I don't think there's any glamorous way of touring.
No, of course not.
I don't think even if you've got the RV, I'm nowhere near that level. But like it's like. Even if we had the RV with when I had Justin Bieber's like motorhome, like I still think I'd hate it. So, but I do love playing. I love playing. I love being on stage, and so like night to night things change because I play with a band. So it's like playing with a band leaves it open to like to change. Yeah, to change every single night. Like. And nothing will ever sounds the same night to night. So like that keeps me fresh. And if I wasn't playing with a band, which I always have conversations with people about the potential about touring without a band and what that looks like. And I was just having a conversation with Little Sims about that actually, like recently, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and like because she just stopped playing with a band. And she's just her like DJ. Obviously, she does a slightly different thing to me, but we're just talking about that and she was kind of probing me on, like, trying to, like, not necessarily feel like I need it. And I was trying to explain to her that I do feel like I need it, but it's also just, like, a want thing, too. You know what I'm saying? but she had a point in terms of like, it's you, like, it's the band too, of course, but it's like, I think she was more just trying to drum into me. She wasn't like trying to like minimize my band. I think what she was trying to do is just like drill into me the idea that like,
you're the nucleus.
Yeah, and that like I should be able to have the presence to do it. And if I was able to do that, what that feels like and what that would look like would be really powerful. And then we were just also talking about the cost.
Why don't we start there?
Yeah, and we're also talking about the cost thing because it's right, it's true. Like,
listen, I was on the other end of booking, so it does make a huge difference.
Oh my
Not so much
God,
just on the
massive
booking
difference.
fee, but also just the production, everything that goes with it, hotel, travel.
Yeah.
No matter how much you want it, and even if there's a budget, it's always gonna limit you at some point.
Well, I
you know?
try and find a good balance.
Yeah.
I try and find a balance between
Yeah.
the two. I think anything really like meaningful to me and like and it feels substantial in the moment, I'm going with my band, and I'll lose if I have to lose. Like for on Coachella, for instance, like we didn't make any money on Coachella.
Yeah.
You know, brought my whole band 2 weekends. We're not going home in between the weekends, are we?
Because you want to give the full show, the experience.
I have to.
Yes,
you
of
know,
course.
I have
It's also
to.
like what a great promo way.
And it's also
to
like I want to show what I just done, what I do here. You know, it's like I want to export that. You know, like so it's like, yeah, I had to show off. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So.
It's so funny you mention that. I just had a conversation 10 minutes before. I don't know who, someone I was just speaking just before interview, and we were talking about I booked Blondie years ago at the Boomer Room, but within our budget, it was also New Year's Eve. I didn't get the full band. Well, I still got Debbie Harry and Chris
Yeah,
Stein, but I
yeah.
got 2 tracks basically.
Oh.
So I really like it went from the full thing to got
To
smaller, and then here 2 tracks. Yeah, that's the reality of it.
That's the reality of it,
Yeah.
but it's like, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
I'm gonna do everything I can in my power to make sure
Yeah.
my band are there. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like, if it's that thing, and it's like, I never want to. You know, I did a tour in America where the main cities I brought my band, and the other ones I didn't, and I could feel in the crowds that they had obviously it's 2023. Like they could. I did this last year, and it was like they have seen footage from my tour, from those big shows, you know, and like they knew I'd come without the band, and like I would get comments like I could feel it in the room in certain places, like specifically like I remember being in San Francisco and doing my show, and really feeling in the room that like they almost had this let down thing. Now that's a whole nother conversation because it's like, where's that entitlement come from? But the empathy,
yeah.
the empathy in me, like I do understand it to a certain extent.
Of course, yeah.
But it's a balance, like, do you know what I'm saying? And we almost would try and find new ways to like excite ourselves because, like I was saying before, with my band, I have the ability to change every single night. I'll play a song for 7 minutes if I want to. Like, this is what I do.
It makes it more interesting for you as well.
Whereas,
so not such a
exactly. Whereas the other way, it's like it's quite monotonous. It's quite samey. So like we would try and do all kinds of shit. Like I was touring with like one of my friends, Kwaku. He was like my DJ. He'd be my DJ, but he's like a musician. So like when we would need to play, he'd play bass on some things, and some things we'd play like acoustic and stuff like that. But then like that still wasn't exciting me. So like, you know, certain nights, like I remember like I bought this like super rare like old school like archive Vetements dress for like, I don't know, like whoever I fall in love with. Like, and I was just like, I had it with me on tour, and I was just like, I'm just gonna wear it.
Yes.
And I wore it. I can't remember where, but I wore like a dress on stage with a backpack, and I came out, and I remember being like, people feeling like what, like a bit confused. It was a bit of a like Kurt moment, but it was also just like, I need to like feel something, whether that's like, I had stopped feeling on that tour a little bit, and I was just like, I need to re-energize myself. I need to do like some weird ass shit to revitalize the vibes and make myself feel uncomfortable.
Jumping in the cold plunge, that's what it is.
Yes, I just wore a dress and went on. Yeah.
I love it. What track defines when you're not touring London for you?
Straight Murder by Giggs and Dave.
It's a crazy world we live in. Girls say I'm a gigolo, no piccolo, get shaved like Krillin. My life a movie is thrilling. Tom Hardy, I play the villain.
Oh no, you know what? I don't know if you know of an artist called Potter Paper. He's a rapper from London. He just put out his debut album and got sent back to jail, like recalled like the day before.
Oh damn.
Yeah, but he put a project out called Roll Back in Style like last week, 2 weeks ago. That's kind of just like the soundtrack to my like being back home in London. Yeah, Potter Paper. Real Back in Style, free Pot of Paper, but yeah, that's my soundtrack right now.
Love it.
Grew up on 110s and A-Rexes. We're snotting all year, but it ain't festive. I'd a quid on a brick and just blame Brexit. We ain't bringing out hammers that we ain't tested.
What's your go-to falling in love or heartbreak song?
Oh, it's Until the End of Time by Justin Timberlake. And dun, 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 to the end of... Love that song. And then Come Around by Foreign Exchange. I don't know if you know Foreign Exchange.
No.
It's like, do you know Fonte from Little Brother?
Yes.
He like had this other like project called The Foreign Exchange, and it was him and this producer, and it's like all R&B. It's him singing, like he barely raps on it. Oh, and another song, actually, if I want to break, like there's a song called Breaking Point by an artist called Leon Thomas that really had me in my feelings like earlier this year.
Slow dancing in this burning house. I don't wanna go nowhere.
And there was this Labyrinth song as well that was on Euphoria that I swear is the last song that made me cry. And it's called I'm Tired. And yeah, by Labyrinth, I'm Tired. Like the words are just unbelievable. Like just phenomenal songwriting.
Hey Lord, you know I'm tired of tears. Hey Lord, just cut me.
Well, after the heartbreak, when you're feeling super sexy and you're out and around town, what's the sexiest song?
The sexiest song? It's probably gonna be like some Party Next Door shit. Maybe like Persian Rugs by Party Next Door. I just love that song. But I love like so much party, like. But I'd just say Persian Rugs by Party Next Door. Yeah.
Nice.
Rugs, but she's from Nicaragua. Thought you was Persian love. Are we turning up?
Well, Bakar, to wrap up our little chat, if your life would be a movie, what song would play in the end credits?
What kind of movie am I going to be leading? Because I'm thinking of it like as a real like comprehensive like Forrest Gump type film.
All right.
You know, like
Yeah.
where like that's the kind of film I want to be made about me.
Not
like,
a Netflix documentary.
yeah, I mean we might have one of those on like as like a side dish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the side dish. But
Yeah.
the main thing needs to like a real Forrest Gump film.
Feature film, I like it.
Yeah, and I need that to end with something that feels really good. Oh my god, there's some other songs I didn't say though, like for
Give it to me.
for like the sexy one, like I want to say like Climax by Slum Village.
Oh.
I want to put that in there just because I'm a massive Jay Dilla fan, and if I don't say anything Jay Dilla. Oh my god, another one that got me in my feels, you know what, and it actually had me in my feels really bad was 2 songs by Adele on the first album. It was Crazy For You.
Yeah.
Found myself today singing out like your name. You said I'm crazy.
And First Love. Those 2 songs are like really like had me feeling some like really some type of way. And Dijon's last album too has a lot of that as well. But to finish off, there's a song by a friend of mine. It's not gonna be like some big fancy song. There's a song. He's a really famous producer actually, well known. Let me not say he's famous, really well known producer, formerly known as Frank Dukes, but now he's known as Ging.
Okay.
And he has a song called Can You See Me? And I adore it to the point where it's like one of those songs where I kind of wish I wrote it myself. And if that was on the end credits, that would be cool, because like the first lyric is like, can you see me now? And I just love that. Like it's almost like, yeah, like, can you see me now? From both like sides of the spectrum, like from the people that knew me before, like, can you see me now? And the people that do know me right now, like, are you actually seeing me for real? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Can you see me? And then to the people in the future, like my future children and stuff, like, can you see me even from the future? Like, so yeah, that would be a good one.
Perfect way for the outro. Well, Bakar, thank you so much for being on air with us. It was a real pleasure.
Man. Thank you for having me. You're really good at talking.
Likewise.
Yeah, I've been nattering today. Oh my God. I think I needed this. You know why? Because remember I was saying earlier, like, I've had a hectic day mentally just because I'm turning in my album this week, and it's like a lot going on and people been fucking up. My A&R's in Tokyo, God knows why. his girlfriend's passport got stuck there.
Oh, God.
And so like it's just been a hectic week, and so I think I needed a ramble. So thank you.
There you go. Thank
There
you.
you go. Cheers, man.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you want to listen to the full playlist, visit areweonair.com or our Spotify channel. You can also find us on Instagram and on YouTube at areweonair. And a big thank you to my wonderful team at Studio Noi. I'm Arman Nafei, and I'll speak to you soon.